Good morning, students. Welcome to online video classes in the chapter number 10, part 2. Today, we will discuss about the uses of microbes in sewage treatment plants, biogas production, and biocontrol agents. As you all know, sewage water is the great problem in metro cities and all over the world. And for the better treatment of sewage, we can use different types of microbes and a good quality water can be reobtained. On the other hand, the human excreta, and by using the cattle excreta, we can prepare biogas, and it also require different types of microorganisms. It is also be discussed in the chapter. The third one is biocontrol agents. In the modern era, different types of chemical pesticides are used to control the insects, pests and others. But we can use biocontrol methods which is eco-friendly and better for environment. So dear students, we will start initially sewage treatment in the PPTs. So in the very first topic in the today's class, sewage treatment. First of all, you need to know what is sewage. The municipal wastewater including human excreta is called sewage. It contains large amount of organic matter and microbes, and many of which are pathogenic. So in general, you can see in the municipal wastewater there is the urine and feces coming from toilets, water coming from washing, bathing, and the wastewater from kitchen. Now the question is, how can we treat the sewage? There are three important basic steps in the sewage treatment plant. In the very first, that is primary treatment. It is also known as physical treatment. Steps of this treatment basically involve physical removal of particles, large and small particles from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. So dear students, you can see these two important methods are the part of primary treatment. The first is filtration. We will filter the wastewater, and the second one is sedimentation. So these are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then the grit. What is the grit? Soil and small pebbles are removed by the sedimentation. All solids that settle from the primary sleeve. After the settling of the solids, it forms primary slush, and the supernatant forms the effluent. The upper portion will form effluent. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. So that will be known as effluent treatment plants. This is the graphical representation of primary treatment. This is the influent coming from the sewage source. Pre-treatment is carried out, screening and grit disposal. Then the next part is primary sedimentation, and after primary sedimentation, primary sludge is removed, and that is used in sludge digester, and then we will use the sludge dewatering process and final sludge disposal, which is used for the preparation of biogas, and it can be used as a manure. The next part will be the secondary treatment process, where we uses the trickling filters, activated sludge, etc. In the second part of the sewage treatment, secondary treatment, it is also known as biological treatment, where different types of microbes used for the treatment of sewage. The primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks. So initially The effluent water is collected in the large tanks where it is constantly agitated mechanically and air is pumped into it. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. So initially we will show the flow of air and agitate the effluent. Then flocks will work. Now the question is, what do you mean by the flocks? Masses of bacteria associated with fungal filament to form mesh-like structure is called flocks. So basically flocks is bacteria associated with fungal filaments and a mesh-like structure is formed. Very important, this purple colored lines, it may be asked in the board examination. While growing, these microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. When we will go through this process, then microbes will consume the organic matter of the effluent by metabolic activities. This significantly reduces the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand of the effluent, because as the organic matter is present in the effluent, and for the degradation of this organic matter by microbe, it will require dissolved oxygen, and that is known as BOD. A simple diagram is given here. These are the filaments of fungi and the red colored dots showing the bacteria, and it is forming a mesh like structure. Basically EPS is the mesh like structure and it shows flocks. Now what is BOD? A one number question may be asked. What do you mean by the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand? What do you mean by the biological oxygen demand? It refers to the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in liter of water were oxidized by bacteria. Basically, as a standard amount of water is 1 liter, and the required amount of oxygen for the degradation of organic matter, that will be the symbol of BOD. The sewage water is treated till the BOD is reduced. We will treat the water till BOD comes down. BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly BOD is measure of the organic matter present in the water. So more the BOD, more the waste organic matter present. The greater the BOD of wastewater, more it is its polluting potential. So pollution is measured on the basis of BOD. Once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, then the effluent is then passed into settling tank where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. So what will you see? As the BOD measurement comes down, then we will leave the tank and flocks will be settled down as a sediment. This sediment is called activated sludge. Now this flock will be known as activated sludge. A small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank and it will serve as the inoculum. So it is another important fact about the sewage treatment. Small amount of activated sludge will be reused as an inoculum. The remaining major part of the sludge is pumped into the large tanks called anaerobic sludge digesters, where microbes in the absence of oxygen will digest the organic material if present. There is a difference between BOD and COD. First of all, BOD means biochemical oxygen demand and COD means chemical oxygen demand. BOD is only a measurement of consumed oxygen by aquatic microorganisms to decompose or oxidize organic matter. So BOD is correlated only with organic matter. But COD, it is related with organic as well as inorganic constituents. So required amount of oxygen to degrade the organic and inorganic constituents in the sewage water or effluent water. So here other kinds of bacteria which grow anaerobically digest the bacteria and fungi in the slush. During this digestion, bacteria produce a mixture of gases. So in the anaerobic conditions, a mixture of gases are also produced, and the major quantity, or you can say major part of the produced gases are methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas and can be used as a source of energy, and it is inflammable in nature. The effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into the natural water bodies like rivers and streams. But for the high level of treatment, we use the third step, also known as tertiary treatment or chemical treatment. It is the final cleaning process that improves wastewater quality before it is reused or recycled or discharged to the environment. So the treatment removes remaining inorganic compounds and substances. Basically, the third step is used to remove inorganic compounds and substances such as the nitrogen and phosphorus. In this procedure, we will maintain the pH of the water, because normal water pH must be neutral or pH 7. It is maintained by adding either base or acid. Color is removed by adsorption method, and odor, if present, is removed. So these are the three important steps: primary treatment, secondary treatment and tertiary treatment. The primary treatment is known as physical treatment, secondary treatment is known as biological treatment, and tertiary treatment is known as chemical treatment. So a graphical presentation is giving an idea here. Pipes take water to treatment center. Initially we will bring the wastewater to the treatment center. Then there will be a screening stage where large particles are removed. Then primary treatment stage, where physical treatment by using filtration and sedimentation. Secondary treatment stage, where microbes are used for the treatment in the presence of oxygen aerobic and in the absence of oxygen anaerobic condition. And final treatment stage, this is also known as tertiary treatment, and after the final treatment the water is sent to water bodies like lakes, ponds or rivers. So dear students, this is all about the sewage water treatment. In the next part of the chapter we will discuss the utility of microbes in biogas production. So microbes in biogas production, prior to we start the biogas, what is biogas? What is the definition of biogas? So you can see biogas is the mixture of gases. Basically this is the mixture of gases produced by the breakdown of organic matter in the absence of oxygen anaerobically, and primarily constituting of methane and carbon dioxide. The main constituent gas of the biogas is methane, and the rest of the gases are found in little quantity. Certain bacteria which grow anaerobically on the cellulosic material produce large amount of methane along with carbon dioxide, hydrogen, hydrogen sulfide, etc. These bacteria are collectively called methanogens bacteria. You can clearly see the name methanogens. Methano means methane and gen means genesis. So the bacteria that produces methane gas after metabolic activity is called methanogenic bacteria. And the well-known example of this bacteria is methanobacterium. These bacteria are commonly found in the anaerobic slush during sewage treatment. These bacteria are also present in the rumen of the cattle, and rumen is a part of stomach. So the important points of this paragraph is the definition of the biogas. What do you mean by the methanogen bacteria? The bacteria that produces methane. In the next part, a lot of cellulosic material present in the food of cattle is also present in the rumen. In rumen, these bacteria help in the breakdown of cellulose and play an important role in the nutrition of cattle. So, the grass that is eaten by the cattle that contains cellulose, and after the breakdown of cellulose, methane production can be seen. Thus, the excreta, or you can say cow dung, commonly called gobar, is rich in the bacteria, because gobar contains different types of bacterial flora. Dung can be used for generation of biogas, commonly called gobar gas. This is the figure showing composition of biogas or gobar gas. 50 to 70% part is methane. 30 to 45% part of the gobar gas is carbon dioxide. Few amount of water vapor may be present. Hydrogen sulfide, H2S gas, ammonia, nitrogen, and traces of other gases. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of IARI New Delhi. What is IARI? Indian Agriculture Research Institute, as well as with the collaboration with KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission. So dear students, you can see the composition of gobar gas. As far as gobar gas is concerned, gobar gas plant is concerned, we will use a large tank in the ground. It is known as digester tank. This is the another tank where we will mix the cow dung with water. This is the sludge after the digestion. The upper part is known as gas holder, where we can see the outlet of the gas, from where release of gobar gas can be seen. So this is the mixing tank. This is inlet pipe where slurry or dung plus water mixture will come in this part. It has the partition walls. This is outlet pipe where sludge is removed, and this is gas holder. And in the upper part, gas control valve can be seen, and this is showing a symbolic use of biogas in the gas stove. Now, in this chapter, the next point is microbes as biocontrol agents. You can see there are different types of insects that harms our grains and other parts. So microbes as a biocontrol agent, out of that biological control of pests and diseases. So the very familiar beetle with red and black markings, the ladybird beetle and the dragonflies are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes respectively. The ladybird beetle and the dragonfly that kills the mosquito, so it is very better and eco-friendly method to control the mosquitoes in our surroundings. You can see this is the figure of ladybird beetle. It is very beautiful insect, and another beautiful insect is dragonfly. It is very well known and you can see in our environment. To control the butterfly caterpillars, so butterfly caterpillars are controlled by using the Bacillus thuringiensis in BT cotton. So this is the another method to control the pest, that is the cryprotein, and we have already discussed about BT cotton, Bacillus thuringiensis in detail in the chapter number 11 and 12. Now the third biocontrol agent is trichoderma. This is basically a fungi. So trichoderma species are free living fungi that are very common in the root ecosystem. It affects the roots of the plant. They are effective biocontrol agents of several plant pathogens. A figure is given here. These are the filaments of Trichoderma fungi. The next biocontrol agent is baculoviruses. So baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. Baculovirus can attack on the insect and other arthropods. The majority of the baculoviruses used as biocontrol agents are in the genus of Nucleopolyhedrosis. It is also known as NPV, Nucleopolyhedrosis virus. NPV viruses. These viruses are excellent candidates for the species specific narrow spectrum insecticidal applications because they will affect the insect. They have been shown to have no negative impacts on the plants and mammals, birds, fishes, even on non-target insects. So the use of baculovirus is important. Why? Because it does not show the bad impacts on the non-target insects, mammals and birds and fishes. This is the figure of baculovirus given in the figure for your general information. So this is all about the biocontrol. So what is biocontrol? The control of pests by using the biological flora and fauna is known as biocontrol. The next part of the topic is microbes as biofertilizers. Different types of microbes can be used as a biofertilizers. Generally, you have listened about the fertilizers. Basically, fertilizer is a chemical which is used in the factories, and biofertilizers are the living organisms found in the nature that will provide nutrition to the growing plants. So biofertilizers are organisms that enrich the nutrient quality in the soil. This is the definition of biofertilizer. The main source of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. We can use the bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria as a biofertilizers. And the well-known example of these flora are Rhizobium, Azorhizobium and Azotobacter. These bacteria help in the nitrogen fixation. You can see the figure here. This is the legume plant roots where these root nodules showing the presence of Rhizobium here. This is a group of Azospirilla. Azospirillum bacteria can be seen in this figure. And in the next one, this is Azotobacter bacteria. So all the group of these bacteria helps in nitrogen fixation and it provides nutrition to the growing plants. The next part is mycorrhiza. It is a symbiotic association of fungi and roots of higher plants. This is already I have taught you in the class 11th and 10th also, and it was also the part of class 9th. Mycorrhiza is what? It is a symbiotic association of fungi and roots of higher plants like Pinus. Cyanobacteria are the autotrophic microbes widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environments, many of which can fix atmospheric nitrogen. The well-known examples of cyanobacteria are Anabaena, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, etc. And the next, this is very important, almost 100% chance may occur on the topic. In paddy fields, in the rice fields, cyanobacteria and azolla is a fund, serve as an important biofertilizer. So whenever you are going to grow the paddy, then you can use cyanobacteria and azolla for the better production as a biofertilizer. This is the two figures showing the presence of mycorrhiza. These filaments are the mycorrhizal filaments, and the red purple dot showing the arbuscular mycorrhiza. Although this is beyond your syllabus, it is given only to raise interest in the biology. So dear students, Today we have finished different topics like sewage treatment, biogas production, biocontrol agents, and all these things showing the utility of the microorganisms in our daily life. And all these are helpful in human welfare. So thank you all. Have a nice day.